Hi guys, another Saturday's here. Hope you all well, enjoying the summer. I'm sure a few of you are complaining of the heat, but let's enjoy it while it lasts, because I'm sure it's not going to last very long. And it's nice to have some sunshine. Today, as the title suggests, I'd like to talk about toxins. I can't remember why that idea came to me, but it's something that I've recently either watched or overheard conversation or something like that. I can't remember, but it just made me realize that actually how people are still unaware of the presence of toxins in our environment, in our food, and how it actually affects our body. And how is it different from, let's say, about 100 years ago, that people still kind of continue with certain behaviors that were fine 100 years ago, but really no longer they are, because lots of things have changed for us. So I'm going to start from the beginning. What I mean by toxins when I'm talking about toxins. So I'm talking about substances that, basically biological, chemical substances, that come from either the environment or are created by our own body, and are basically, when they're created by our own body, they are waste that need to be eliminated, and when it comes from the environment, it can come in all sorts of forms, and I will go into that in more detail in a minute, but it tends to be mainly substances either that we breathe in, that we swallow, that we absorb through our skin, or that, as I said, are created in our body. There is loads and loads and loads of them, so I'm not going to be naming them. Lots of them have really long Latin names, and it will mean nothing to you. But they are out there, and they are, I've already mentioned, they are in our food, they are in our cosmetics, they are in our cleaning products, they are in our clothing, in the materials that we come in contact with, they in the air, because they're produced by cars and factories and so forth. They end up, in plastic that we use, so plastic bottles and plastic cutlery and food, like food bowls and plates and stuff like that, that are, made from polystyrene or whatever. So we're constantly exposed to that, and then we add kind of more natural toxins, obviously, like alcohol, smoking, obviously drugs, chemicals as well. So when you take medication and stuff, they tend to be toxic to, they might be helpful to some parts of our body, but tend to be toxic to others. So all that stuff, we're exposed to this a lot and a lot. So let's say in the past, or in some parts of the world still, you have someone who kind of lives mostly off the ground, meaning they grow most of their own food, or share their food with their neighbors. So they work all day with animals or on the fields. They walk a lot, long distances. They tend to live somewhere in the mountains, or before Victorian times, there was basically almost no pollution. So they lived in the fresh air, unless they were like miners or chimney sweeps. Most people tended to be kind of working class people. We're talking, tended to be in fresh air, working physically quite hard all day long, more or less 7 days a week, and so they were very physically active. They ate very little, very simple food, not massive varieties. They grew most of their food, or the food grew in the area, and actually the stress level on day-to-day basis tended to be reasonably low, generally speaking. Because once they knew that food is provided, ambition was pretty low. People knew that that's their life, and they just lived it. So this, and because of the physical activity as well, the stress levels were much better managed. So the toxins that are produced by the body during stress reactions weren't really present that much, or were dealt with pretty easily. No pollution, the food was pure, the water was pure, the air was pure, so very little toxins coming from that. Soap was very basic, and there were not many chemicals in there either. It was all quite natural. So the cosmetic stuff, it was very basic and very minimal and natural. The same goes with cleaning products. It was more about the kind of manual hard work as opposed to the chemicals they were using. So all of that, there were no cars driving around. So there was very little exposure to toxins for the average person. Alcohol. Alcohol was drunk a lot because water wasn't really safe at the time. But because, unless people were abusing it, unless they were drinking too much, when it was drunk, it kind of sensibly, and often the wines were very weak. And some of the beers too, because they were used for hydration, not for intoxication. So although people drank more alcohol and they might have smoked, the body was able to deal with it because it wasn't being attacked from all the other directions. But now when you look at today, what we expose today, so there's stuff we just have, very little individual control over. So, the pollution, especially in London, is incredible. It's really, really high. It's the cars, in some cities the factories still, all that, it's still producing lots of pollution, air travel. So, that affects, there's obviously income of toxins from the air. Now, food, unless you eat really organically, and even then, I doubt that you're completely toxin free. It's not just pesticides on our food, but it's also what's in it. I mean, when you look at most products like, yogurts or sweets, when you have like packets of sweets and stuff, often there is some stuff in it that doesn't really need to be in there, and that's actually, man-made chemicals. Then you look at cosmetics full of chemicals. I mean, look at the names, and I doubt what half of them are, and some of the Latin names doesn't mean it's necessarily something harmful. Some of the actually describing essential oils, which are, as you know, completely natural. But quite often that's not the case, and when you look at just little things like a toothpaste that you use daily, and research the stuff that's actually on an active ingredients list, you'll be surprised what you put into your body and the side effects of that, and what it's used on industrial level for. Cleaning products, there's already been some news on how cleaning products, when they're evaporating, when they combine with burning candles, the scented candles, that it creates harmful chemicals that we don't breathe in, our children breathe in, and it can be cancer forming, and all that kind of stuff, all the medication that we pop in on a daily basis, whether it's, birth control pill, or whether it's paracetamol or ibuprofen, we're eating like sweets. And of course there is some more serious medication that, people have to take to, whether it's manage their blood pressure or whatever. They also have side effects. And so again, on their own, not an issue, but when you add everything up, if you live in London, you work 9 to 5, sitting behind a computer all day, getting really stressed by deadlines and bosses and colleagues, and then your family when you come home, and not traveling public transport, it's quite stressful as well. or driving in London, so your stress reaction, as we mentioned last time, is creating lots of stuff in your body that's not very good for you anyway, plus the environmental stress, like toxins and stuff from the air pollution and stuff, plus perhaps the not so healthy food you might pop in because you don't have time to go shopping properly, plus the lack of exercise because you just don't have any time, the lack of sleep, so your body doesn't have time to recover and process, and you top it up by a glass of wine in the evening just before you go into bed, and your body's like shutting down because it's like, well, I have nothing left. I have nothing to process this with, and it all adds up, and you might keep going like this for 10, 15, 20, 30 years even, talking, from kind of early adulthood. And it happens to so many people. They retire and they die, or they become really severely ill because their body finally has time to recover, but it has nothing to recover with. You have not built up any resilience, you have not built up enough healthy base to be able to deal with the onslaught of toxins that we have no control over. So the control that you have is about what you put in your body. So reading the labels on your cleaning products, using them more carefully, and washing off the surfaces with water, so you don't breathe in the evaporation of the chemicals. Reading the labels on your cosmetic products and making your own even better, then at least you know what's in it. Your food, eating food that's cooked from scratch, that's cooked from raw ingredients. Much better if you buy a yogurt and you want a fruit yogurt, buy a white bio yogurt when there's nothing else in it, buttermilk, and add fresh strawberries or jam. Hopefully that's homemade. That's what I mean. We can make our food a little bit more pure than it is, and I know that financially is not always easy, but there are ways to do that. And going to local farmers market, or even just buy fresh veg in like Lidl, whatever. Lidl has actually a very good selection of veg and fruit for very reasonable prices, and as long as you wash it properly. Sometimes in kind of warm water is better because they can be waxed, which is not very good for us either. So washing your fruit and veg properly, washing your meat and stuff like that before cooking meat properly. You can still have really, really good healthy diet without spending fortune on it. If you can afford it, I really recommend finding good sources. When your food is not full of pesticides and all these Mars bars and all these sorts, cutting on those will probably help as well. And then the thing is, when you then manage most of your toxic incomes, if you have that unhealthy chocolate bar every so often, or get drunk on a night out once in a while, it's not going to be a big issue because your body can deal with it. It's when it's constant onslaught, constant income of toxins from all around you, from you then topping it up with drinking almost every night or smoking all the time, whatever, with lack of exercise, lack of sleep. It's probably not very nice to hear, but you're not gonna have a very good quality of life when you're older. And nowadays we live much longer, and they keep us alive longer. And do you really want to be alive with damaged liver and kidneys, and when your joints are not working properly, in constant pain, and have to take like massive list of medication just to keep yourself moving? Do you really want to live your life with dementia when you don't even know who you are most of the time? And when we're young, we often live like we're never gonna get old, like we're gonna die at 50 or something. But do you really want to? And life is amazing. There's so much to do, and you can see there's so many people nowadays in their 50s, 60s, and they're doing all these things that, in the past only 20-year-olds would do. So there is life ahead of you. Even if you're 30, 40 now, you still have plenty of years ahead of you. And, be still fit and strong and can enjoy all that life can offer. What it's going to do to your health. But you've got to start with it now, so then you can just maintain it. When you start looking at your health when you're 60, it's late. It's too late. It's going to be very, very hard work. It's better to start now. So get your shit together, basically. That's what I'm saying. Is drinking every night really important? Like, isn't there a better way of doing it? Like, what are you achieving by it? Or getting drunk out of your head every Saturday, or smoking 20 cigarettes a day, or applying I don't know how many different cosmetic things to your body that you don't even know what's in it. There are other options. That's what I'm saying. There are other options. Like, if these things are really, really important to you and you need them in your life, as long as you make an informed choice, go right for it. Like, if that's what you want to do, go right for it. Why I'm doing this video is tell you, if you don't know what alcohol is doing to your body, if you don't know what cigarettes are going to do your body, if you don't know what certain cosmetic things going to do your body, or food, toxic food can do to your body, or how pollution can affect you, how lack of sleep can affect you. If you don't know these things, well, now you do. Now you can make choices. If you didn't know, making choices is very difficult, but now you do. You can't really hold anyone else responsible. So when things go to shit in 20 years' time, you're the only one that you can look at and say, perhaps shouldn't have done that. So look ahead, look ahead of what's ahead of you and how you want your life to be, not just today, but in the future too. Because it's all good, live day by day and enjoy it as it comes and go with the flow. I'm absolutely up for that, and there's definitely place for it. But there's also place for being aware that this day-to-day will last for hopefully for quite a few years, and if you want that to be of quality, you have to start planting the seeds now. Like, if farmers would live just day-to-day, nothing would ever be done. You have to have some forward planning, and then once you plant the seeds, then you allow things to just flow and allow nature to take its course with your little help of maybe airing the airs or adding some water if it's too dry. But you can't influence whether the seed grows or not very much. You can't influence if the sun shines or not, or if it rains or not. That you don't have power over that, but you have power over whether you plant a seed or not. So I am planting seeds and I'm hopefully planting a seed in your mind saying, okay, I want to live fulfilling life for the rest of it, not just for the next few days. And how can I make it so? And if it's by reducing the amount of toxins in my life, then if you need more information, if you need talk about it, if you want to know more, there's so much information out there, but I'm very happy to talk to you and have a one-to-one conversation and talk about your specific situation of what might need to change a little bit to for you to achieve even better health. All right, rant over. This is me for today. Off to work now, so have a lovely, lovely Saturday. Enjoy the rest of the sunny weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday again. And this is Christina Mendes-Mathieva from KMM Serenity Therapies. I'm based in Highgate Holistic Clinic. At the moment, I'm mainly working as a massage therapist. So if you have any niggly pains, let me know. I also teach massage. I do pregnancy massage. I have a membership scheme for people with more personal advice on health and well-being, and I'm also starting NLP hypnotherapy, hopefully in August. So whatever the problem, let me know, and I'll see if I can help. When I can't, I'll pass you on to someone who hopefully can. So take care, have a lovely weekend, and see you soon. Bye bye.